best F2P MMORPG to play right now. What's up, Saviors? GH here. Today I'll be showing you guys the best free-to-play MMORPGs to play right now. There's no particular order, and with that said, let's do this. First up, PSO2 NGS. It's an open-world sci-fi action MMORPG developed by Sega. At the making of the video, it features two main open-world maps, the Alio region and the Retem region. Both have exploration and combat sectors. In exploration sectors, there are trials and groups of mobs that you can engage in and get loot and EXP. There's also gatherables like vegetables, ores, and you can hunt for meat, which you can then use for crafting and cooking in the game. Now, combat is action, which I believe is the best action combat in an MMORPG today. It's action-packed. You have iframes in the form of a dash, and you can counter after a successful iframe. Now, at the moment, there are 8 classes to choose from, and you can switch anytime you want. And each of the classes provides unique gameplay experience. Now, for the content, at the start, you will undergo the usual story that will take you to different locations in the game and do combat. And then at certain points in the game, they will ask you to improve your battle power until you reach endgame. Now, at the end game, it's mostly doing dailies and waiting for urgent quests, which the urgent quest rarely occurs. This is the weakness of this game, content, because when you're done with your dailies, you're gonna have to wait for urgent quest, which is not a great feeling. But me, what I do is either farm or grind while waiting until one urgent quest pop out. I played this since it was released. It has its ups and downs, and the only thing that's missing here to be complete is actual content. It makes us log in and stay for hours on end. Now, if you're new to PSO2 New Genesis, then you're in for a treat. Go check the game out and get a few weeks of free content. And if you're interested in the game, the details are on the screen. The next MMORPG you should be playing is Path of Exile. It's a top-down fantasy action MMORPG set in a dark fantasy world of Ray class. I'm not gonna beat around the bush here. Path of Exile is one of the best MMORPG you can play today. It's not your traditional MMORPG because when you're outside the hub town, it becomes instance and it's just you adventuring. Now, it starts off by selecting a class which ranges from magic users to physical damagers, and to be honest, it doesn't seem much at the start, but it gets interesting as you play the game because ability acquisition is done by farming or quest rewards, which, trust me, customizing the skills you get in the game is the most fun they have in this game. Now, the combat is satisfying where it shows us how fun mobbing hordes of enemies is, kiting them around. It's real fun. And as I've said, I really like the skill system that they have in this game. I find it entertaining. Customizing your gear based on what gems you have is what drives me to play even more. All in all, if you have nothing else to play, Path of Exile should be a great free-to-play MMORPG to waste your precious time in. And if you want to check the game out, the details are on the screen. Next MMORPG you should play is Albion Online, a cross-platform tab-targeting medieval MMORPG playable on PC and mobile devices. Now, you probably heard me say that this is a worthwhile game to check out 1,000 times. Because it is. It's one of those MMORPGs where you can lose yourself in. Now, I'm not much of a crafting guy and I prefer that me and you stand in the middle of an arena and see who's gonna win. But I tell you, crafting your own gear based on what I want to be in the game is fun. This is one aspect of Albion Online that more MMORPGs should have too. You are what you wear. Your capabilities depends on what you're wearing. And if you're interested in playing Albion Online, the details are on the screen. Next MMORPG that you should play is Warframe. It's a third-person sci-fi action MMORPG. Now, I know it's not your traditional MMORPG with tab-targeting combat, but don't be mistaken. Warframe is an MMORPG through and through. You can hang out with your friends, play with them, and have fun. Now, at the start, there's 3 Warframes to choose from, but all of them can do range and melee combat. Now, after choosing a Warframe, you go through the quest line. And you know what? In my time playing Warframe, there's definitely a lot of stuff to do. But there's no goal. You get a lot of items from fighting and doing content. But there's this feeling that, why are we here? But despite that, Warframe is fun. And if you want to check the game out, the details are on the screen. Now, last MMORPG you should be playing is Lost Ark. It's a top-down fantasy MMORPG which is currently and undoubtedly the best free-to-play MMORPG at the moment. A few months ago, PSO2 NGS was my main MMORPG, and now I can say that Lost Ark is now my main MMORPG because I spend more time daily in Lost Ark than in PSO2 NGS. Now, let me tell you a little bit of Lost Ark. At the beginning, the class selection might seem too limited, but don't worry, each of the classes that you can choose from can branch out and pick a specific specialization that sets it apart from everybody else. Now, after selecting a class, of course, the story starts, and I must say, the story is impressive. In terms of production value, we don't see this as much in a free-to-play MMORPG. The length of the story campaign is very long. I don't have the exact number, but it took me like a week for the main story, and there's a lot more quests that I ignored. Now, the combat is action. At the beginning, you're mostly just bulldozing story bosses, but at the end game, the raid starts. And they have mechanics that brings out what is fun and rewarding in a top-down MMORPG. Or it could be absolutely infuriating to you because your teammates doesn't know what to do. So if I were you, don't do raids with random people and do it with friends. All in all, if you're asking me, if I had to choose one as the best free-to-play MMORPG to play right now, it would be Lost Ark. That's it guys, help me out in the algorithm, leave a like, and this is Game Your Goal. See you in the next one.